All right, hello. Welcome to our first ever call-in show on the Arkansas Sports Network. I'm Brad Caldwell. Sitting next to me is Duran Miller. We're glad to have him along. And, man, we're excited to be here as we're going to talk some Liberty Bowl. Duran, I know this right here, man, this is right up your alley. I know you love talking Hogs and just all things Razorback.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's going to be a good day, hopefully, for the Razorbacks. Kansas State, we'll get into all this as we go, or Kansas, sorry, they're really struggle this year with rushing defense. We all know that's one of Arkansas's strong points. So, I'll listen to Coach Coach Pittman. It's live, right?
Yes.
Coach Pittman yesterday, and we're listening to the presser, and to me, he sounded extremely confident, and it was really in good spirits, and was joking around, talking about his wife chewing tobacco and stuff like that. It was
right.
As a joke, but it was. He seemed definitely in good spirits, and I feel like they felt confident about this game. That they felt like they had a good game plan going in. So, pretty excited. We're just a couple hours away now.
Yeah, we are. We're just
an hour and a half.
We're a couple hours away, and we're excited to it's always exciting no matter what when it gets down to the end of the bowl game. It's just one of those things that you're always excited about being in a bowl. You know what I mean? I say that. I guess some people are not quite as excited about being in a bowl game, but you're excited about being there most of the time, and you're excited about just having that opportunity to play that final game. It's always a good thing. I think
right.
You'd never want to end the game or end the season without going to a bowl game. It just doesn't feel right.
Right.
Especially in a program like Arkansas. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we know that Arkansas is not at the top of the heap of the SEC. But at the end of the day, they are still a program that should be making bowl games every year.
Yeah, and it's big to get these extra practices, especially for the guys that – and in Arkansas situation, we had a lot of turnover. Every school does right now, but we're probably on the higher end of it this year. And we had a D coordinator leave to be a head coach. We had a tight ends coach go to be an offensive coordinator. So both of those were promotions. And we had a lot of guys jump in the portal. We're bringing a lot of guys in. I think we've picked up 5 so far. That's going to continue to grow over the next few weeks. But getting those extra practices in, especially for these guys that were mostly scout team guys this year, freshmen, things like that, down on the depth chart, it bodes big for them, especially those true freshmen that are kind of getting that extra game in, that they don't have to waste that redshirt year, or they don't have to waste a year of eligibility. They can still redshirt and get that 5th game in. It's big, and it kind of jumpstarts you going into spring. So I agree with what you said. It's huge to have a bowl game, even if it's a lower tier bowl. Liberty Bowl's been good to us as well. It's run by some good people. We've always usually had a lot of success over there. I know we beat Kansas State in the Cotton Bowl, but I was going to say 2 of our last 3. I guess that is what it is. 2 of our last 3 bowl wins have been in the Liberty Bowl against Kansas State,
right? With
Bielema and Alex Collins is last year, and that was a special day. And then I think both you and I were at the Liberty Bowl with Petrino, and man, that was a cold day. And the only time as a Razorback fan, I almost didn't mind if we missed that field goal to get out of there because we were hurting so bad. Right. It was so cold. I was on about the 8th to the top of that stadium, right up against the Mississippi River, and we got there like idiots, like 4 hours early, outside the whole time. And by the end of it, it was brutal. But Liberty Bowl's always been good to us, and I think like you said, it's really big to get these extra practices in, and it just kind of builds momentum. We come off to probably our best defensive game and our best overall game of the year against LSU. We didn't have KJ Jefferson, lost by 3. Who knows what could have happened if we'd have had him that day. Then we go in and we beat, at the time, number 14 Ole Miss and curb stomp them, 42-6 after 3 quarters. We let them kind of come back a little bit. Still one going away. But then we kind of had a letdown a little bit going into Missouri, and that's a bitter taste in all of our mouths. It didn't help anything momentum-wise with recruiting and kind of how things are going. So you've seen some negativity, but I think this bowl game is a way to right the ship, and we'll see what happens.
All right, so you can join us today. Again, this is our first ever call-in show. Join us at 314-312-3188. You can call right in here. We'll be having you here. We're going to have a couple guests on for us today. We're going to have Sean Caldwell with us, Coach SC22 on the 24/7 Sports Board. I know that he's excited. He's got a pretty big following over there on that Razorback Sports Board there. We're going to have him. We're also going to have Matt Mosley of Big Pig Energy. He's coming up here in just a few moments, actually, at 3 o'clock. We're going to have him on talking a little bit about the game and just what's all went on in the offseason. But, again, if you want to get in here with us, you can get in here at 314-312-3188. That'll get you in here. You can join us here. I think you may hear it ring. I haven't figured out how to fix that just yet, but this is our first ever call-in show, so you can join us here, and we encourage you to do that and let people know, hey, you're all about it. Some of the TV people say that Arkansas is not up for this game. What do we think? It's a good question, really, when you think about it, because Arkansas is down to 48 scholarship players. That's the number one thing that really sticks out to me. And, it's hard, I think, for a Razorback team to get up for the game with all those guys that have opted out. But I will say this, the guys that are going to play should be up because some of these guys, like a guy like Jordan Crook, a guy that's going to play linebacker probably a lot today, hasn't gotten a lot of playing time.
Right, exactly. And I think the guys that you do have, I think, Coach Pittman, he's really good about kind of selling that we got what we need. That was kind of his message when he first got here to Arkansas, because that's kind of the opposite of what Chad Morris did when he came here. That was a locker room divided from the get-go. He never had complete control of that locker room, and Pittman unified that right off the bat. And I think they've kind of redid that again with this bowl game. Like, hey, we lost a lot of people. There's people opting out. There's transfer portal. But the ones we have, we're excited about. And he's continually said with confidence that, they only have 48 right now, but the 48 they have, they feel like there's zero excuses not to go out there and have a great game.
With Pittman, what else can you say at this point? You know what I mean? What can you say? I know they're watching the color right here. So I'm just going to tell you the setup that we have right now. We're outside. We're underneath my carport. We've got a green screen behind us. We've got this cloudy, hazy day. The lighting here is not great, so if you see this color changing, you understand what we're doing. I'm trying to get it a little bit better than what it is anyway.
Do we look like Smurfs? Or
well, we were, yes. We were a little
bit of monochrome.
A little bit of Smurfy, and I'm trying to get it figured out here. But anyway, with that being said, Pittman, he's going to say what he thinks he could say to get these guys going and feeling good about where they're at.
Right.
I think, this is just my opinion, I feel like there's enough talent out there to beat Kansas. I think, but I'm not guaranteeing it by any means. And I think a lot of that, you get into these bowl games, and the team that wins the game that shouldn't win it, the underdog, the betting underdog, I don't even know the betting line on this game. But the betting underdog is usually the one that is up for the game. And then there's always the excuse of, well, we weren't up for the game, that's why we lost the game. But, not always is that the case.
Right.
You think about this. Arkansas didn't play their last – or they played their last game the Friday after Thanksgiving. That's a month ago now, over a month ago. And so you're going to have rust. I mean, really, this is akin,
almost,
like a first game as much as it is being in the season and being in the
it's almost like playing a spring game in some ways, when you think about it, because the layoff's been so long. There's so many different players and faces out there. I completely agree with that take.
So we got Patricia Lansford says, woo pig suey, and then Wayne Richardson back in. He says, I think portal transfers should happen after the season's over. I agree with you there. We could talk about that, really, as we go. And I'm sure that Matt Mosley, who will be with us in about 6 minutes, he'll tell us. Corey Williams says, looks good, guys. I appreciate it there, Corey. We're working on it, trying to make it better. If you can, hit the share button for us. Let people know that you're watching the first ever call-in show here on the Arkansas Sports Network. 314-312-3188 will get you in. here on the program. You're watching us on Facebook. You're watching us live on YouTube. We've got a couple on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on YouTube. We got a little bit on Facebook, so we're not doing too bad here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just going back to what we're talking about with being kind of a new team almost, that Pittman is excited, and you could tell it in all the interviews leading up to this, especially the one yesterday morning. They feel like I think the number that pops out, and Pittman's an old ball coach. He's an offensive line dude, but when you see that Kansas is letting up around, I think it's, I want to say 240 something yards rushing a game. Maybe it's 270, somewhere around 250. When you see that number and you do return most of your offense back, and you do lose Luke Jones, you lose Ricky Stromberg, but you've got a guy like Tykees Crawford who's moved into guard, which personally I think that's a huge move. I think that's very important because he struggled a little bit when he came in and filled in for Luke Jones at left tackle. Pittman said yesterday in the presser that he was more confident now, Crawford was, at guard. That dude is gigantic, and he kind of reminds me of back when Pittman first got here, when he had Dan Skipper and Kirkland playing guard as freshmen. Eventually moved him out to tackles. But that guy's a mammoth dude. Can you imagine getting pulled by about a 350-pound guy?
Right.
Which I know he's lost a little weight, but he's still 330. And don't get us wrong, during this Christmas break, it wouldn't surprise me. He comes in at 340 plus again.
Right.
So I like that move. I think that's probably his natural fit. I mean, I'm not an O-line coach. I'm not up there every day. Those guys know more, but he's definitely got the build to be a mauler in the running game. So I like that. I really feel like KJ and these guys, and I meant to say this a minute ago, but I feel like with all the loss, and you lose a guy like Jalen Catalon, that's one of the purple elephants in the room, so to speak. Sure. You're losing someone, All-American. There's all kinds of rumors about all that. But I feel like the dudes that came back that are still there, like KJ, who's one of the leaders, especially on the offensive side, they got a little bit of a chip. I feel like this has caused a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. That, the coaches are selling Arkansas still. They're still trying to recruit. They've still got guys, or the new guys coming in, like Coach Williams, Travis Williams, the defense coordinator now, Coach Morgan Turner, the new tight ends coach. Those guys, they're rallying the troops. They're getting them excited. We ended up with a number 22 class. I think it actually moved up one spot the next day to 21, which is one spot better than last year, even though we only got, I believe it was 19 that officially signed. I think Shamar Easter is the only holdout right now of the 20 commits, that we still had at that point. So, I mean, those are huge things. And I feel like, KJ had a presser about 2 weeks ago where he was on there talking and was really excited and confident and talking about the offense. And, they've got Browse there. And I feel like they're ready to come out rolling and ready to say something. To say, hey, Arkansas hasn't gone nowhere. We're here. And we're going to keep moving this thing forward. And that's definitely something I'm kind of putting my eggs in that basket, and I'm hoping to see that tomorrow or later today. Sorry.
So we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we've got the host of Big Pig Energy. We've got Matt Mosley. He's going to talk to us a little bit about everything. I'm going to tell you right now, that guy's strong on opinions. I'll tell you that for sure.
He's good.
And he's good. And they got a great show over there.
They really do.
So make sure that you join them over there on the Big Pig Energy. We'll be back here in just a moment with more of the Arkansas Sports Network call-in show. Bill says pre-action. So not the reaction, but the pre-action. We'll be back in just a moment.
We understand an upside-down world. We understand a rogue virus, zero jobs, and stratospheric tuition. But they're writing us off before we get to the starting line. A stalled generation? Not so fast. Who do you think is gonna fix all this? We will. We will because our future is the future. Because the life we have chosen has prepared us for this moment in history. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
There comes a time in all of our lives when we need the help of legal services. Well, let Leah Jacobs at Heirloom Legal at 425 North Church Street in Atkins be your go-to when you are needing assistance. If you're needing a will or a trust, maybe you're helping an elder parent with Medicaid issues, or planning on opening a brand new business, maybe you have another legal need. Jacobs can help you plan your next step. That's Heirloom Legal, helping families build and protect their legacy through estate, elder, and business planning. Call 501-819-2553, and walk-ins are welcome.
During the Great Depression, nothing came easy. But with just 5 cents, an old truck, and a load of hay, John Tyson and his family found a way to deliver quality chicken to other hardworking people. Today, Tyson continues to find new ways to help put a chicken in every pot. Because people deserve farm-raised chicken of the highest quality. At Tyson, we remain committed to this simple promise: to always keep it real, to always keep it Tyson.
We see you. Your incredible potential and willpower set you apart. You're first to take that leap of faith. First to get to work. First to solve the problem. No burden should be carried alone. We'll be there. Every step, day, challenge. First is your destiny. We get it because first is who we are.
Welcome back. That is a little better.
Yeah, definitely.
That is a little better. Matt, is it a little better on your end?
Oh yeah, man. We're clear.
I switched headsets. That helps. And it's funny, the headset that we have, we've got a makeshift set here, and I can see, you can see the light coming in now across us. It'll get better.
Right,
I'll tell you that. It'll get better
It's definitely get better.
because I've got a studio coming. So
I thought you were just talking about the light, but
no, I don't know.
as the sun goes down,
I don't know if
lights
that's
come
going to get better or not. Let me think here. Let's see. The sun's setting in the west, so it should get better. Anyway,
Is that where it's
At this
sitting?
point, you need Keith Jackson in there.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, Matt, you are the host of Big Pig Energy. Let's talk a little bit about Big Pig Energy first, and let's talk a little bit about just your, the show and kind of get people to know a little bit more about that with you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to be on today. Big Pig Energy was kind of an idea that I came up with, and you and I talked about back during the summer during Arkansas's run to Omaha, and the need for a fan-based video podcast that didn't show a lot of fluff, didn't pump a lot of sunshine, and just really got down to the brass tacks of what's going on inside Arkansas Razorback sports. We primarily try to cover the big sports: football, basketball, baseball, softball, the stuff that's really drawing. But we're also touching on some of the other outlying sports that are maybe not getting as much press, or you're getting just a little blurb here and there. The team that I get to work with every week, former Pulaski Academy and Presbyterian College coach Kevin Kelly, Danny Beeson, some other folks on Twitter, Brooklyn, Greg Almonte. I mean, we've had Grant Cook on this year. Jim Harris has joined us. Otis Kirk, Alyssa Orange from KNWA. I mean, it's been a great football season. I mean, obviously the record didn't turn out the way we were hoping when the season started, but it's been a good first 12 or 13 weeks of Big Pig, and we look forward to kind of getting I don't want to say restarted, but getting kind of reinvigorated with SEC basketball starting tonight, and then going into the rest of the basketball season.
So, again, if you can, make sure that you hit that share button. Let people know that you're watching the very first ever Arkansas Sports Network call-in show right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. And, we're going to look back at this, Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to say, look at this.
Oh, yeah. We've already looked back at a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Already that was worse than this. So we're moving on up.
That's it. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on the football field. We got a couple, hi from Memphis, hi from Hot Springs. That's Jess Bonds and D. Broderick. We appreciate you guys watching us here. If you can, hit that share button for us and let everybody know you're watching this. But, Matt, let's talk a little bit about what's happening since the Missouri game, and let's talk about what you think we're going to see on the field today.
Well, to say that I was less than pleased with the outcome of the Missouri game would be putting it mild.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a universe that is existing in God's coverage that we should ever lose a football game to Missouri. I can't stand that micro midget. I mean, Brad, you and I both know that guy.
Yeah.
And I remember putting him into a backstop up at the Dover Parks back in the early 2000s in a softball game. So I don't have a whole lot of love for Dorkwitz up there. But, what I saw in that Missouri game that concerned me, and I know Coach Pittman addressed this immediately afterwards, I saw our offensive line get pushed around in a way that I hadn't seen all year. You expect that against like an Alabama or a Georgia. You don't expect it against a Missouri. And it's no slight to Missouri's defensive front. They've got a solid front seven guys. But, man, I just expected us to really go in there and dominate the line of scrimmage, and we didn't do that.
Yeah, you're right about that. We sure didn't do that. And I'm with you. I agree with you. There's no world where Arkansas should lose on a consistent basis to Missouri. Now, I'm going to say something, Matt, that you are going to disagree with 100%. And probably most people that are watching this are going to disagree with this when I say this. We should treat Missouri more like a rival because we're getting beat by them. If we don't treat them like a rival, if we don't get up for the game, they're 7-2 against Arkansas in their last 9. Overall, I believe the series is, is it 10-4 now? Something like that. 11-4.
Yeah.
You've got to treat them with respect, or they're going to continue to kick your butt.
That's facts. I mean, Missouri has done very, very well recruiting St. Louis, recruiting Kansas City. They're getting into Oklahoma, getting into Texas, getting into Tennessee and the Memphis area, pulling kids. They've got some ball players. It's no shade to the team that they've put together, but you watch their bowl game the other night, and you read the tenor of their fan base, and they're not real happy with the 6-7 season and an extension that just got laid out to the dork up there. So, you
said he was opinionated.
You got a trophy. Yes. You got a trophy game, and I know things are going to change when we have conference realignment and when Texas and Oklahoma come into the conference in a couple of years. I don't like the game being the Friday after Thanksgiving. That game should be played in September. I think we played them earlier in the season. We beat them like a bass drum consistently. I think it just sets us up for a bad time playing them the Friday after Thanksgiving.
I can agree with that a little bit. I do like the LSU game to be the Friday after Thanksgiving. Right. I think the SEC completely screwed Arkansas when they gave Texas A&M that game, and now you're going to move Texas into the SEC. Now they're going to go and get that Thanksgiving game that they've had for years with Texas. And then what happens with the LSU game? Does it go back to the Friday after Thanksgiving? I'd like to see that. I don't know that LSU would like to see it. And here's my problem with the way that we look at Missouri. And we haven't even talked about the bowl game yet. But here's my problem with how we look at Missouri, all right? It's that LSU looks at Arkansas the same way, right? Yeah. It's the disrespect that LSU has had for so many years that has kept Arkansas winning some of these games that they probably shouldn't, especially on their, those years like when LSU's supposed to win the national championship.
That's why we bring the wood in those games, and exactly. That's why we've had a chip on our shoulder in those games, and we're able to come out ahead. in some of those games you're talking about when they were clearly more talented from
Correct.
top to bottom, and that's how Missouri feels about us. So the way we like to say that to LSU, I don't like to call them LSU. I don't like to give them any respect. I hate them more than I hate Texas. They're at the very top of my list. But Mizzou feels that way about us,
Right.
you know. So you got to think about that a little bit, and you do got to. Like your point is, you know, that we got to make it a rivalry, or they're going to continue to beat us the way they're doing.
To me, it's common sense. I feel like that everybody in the media, I think that people in the fan base, oh, Missouri's not a rival. They're not good enough to be a rival. But here they are.
Right.
Well, let's just compare the last 3 years. Arkansas under Pittman, 18-17. Under the Dork, 17-18. I mean, they're 2-1 against Arkansas. Now, were the situations different? Yes, they were.
You're right.
They were absolutely different. And if we don't get that computer plugged in, wherever it's at, we're going to lose this thing.
Okay,
So-
I'll take care of that.
Yeah, make sure we get that plugged in here. Anyway, with that being said, and you better hurry pretty quick.
It's plugged in, so maybe it come on this end.
Yeah, we got it. All right,
Okay.
we're back. Sorry.
Still good?
But if we can, if